So the last time we were making a thesis or a project report, and we had created the title page of our project report, and then we had created a dummy project report with 5 chapter names, and we had populated the first chapter with 5 subheadings, and we left off at the point where we had created custom styles. So here I can see that I have my main heading, then this is a custom style that I created. So now we are going to add a custom table of contents, which is not really difficult to do. You simply place your cursor at the point where you want your table of contents to be inserted, right? This is very important that you keep your cursor blinking at the point inside your document where you want your table of contents to be inserted, number one. Number two, you should make sure that there is either the formatting that you want already applied on that, or if you don't want any formatting, you should use the clear formatting option to get rid of all the formatting at this particular point, so that when you place your table of content or insert your table of content at this point, the text formatting of that table of contents is uh, according to your requirement. And mostly we don't use any formatting before we do our work, so I'm going to simply assume for this part that we don't want any formatting, and by that we mean we are actually happy with default formatting, which is Times New Roman fonts, and this font size is 12. So I'm just going to go to insert, and I'm going to go to table of contents, index or bibliography, and I'm going to select this option, table of contents, and it will take me to this dialog box. And this dialog box allows me to apply a title to this table of contents, and I'm going to use the same, I have already typed it over here. That will be a duplication, but maybe I will delete this afterwards after inserting the automated table of contents. So I'm going to use the same name, table of contents, and then I'm going to select the type. The type is also default table of contents. I'm not inserting any other thing right now. I'm just going good with table of contents, and then I can select or unselect this option, protected against manual changes. If I keep it selected, it will prevent any user from modifying the content of the table of contents manually or by mistake. Sometimes it happens that you modify something by mistake. So if you want to have this checked, it is always a good thing to do to keep it checked, and then create index or table of contents for the entire document. I'm going to leave it to that, and then I'm going to go to the additional styles option. So I'm going to leave everything as it is, and I'm going to check this box called additional styles. I hope everyone has done it there who are doing this work with me. Additional styles is checked now, and I go to assign styles, right? So this is how the automated table of contents work. It uses the styles that you have used in your document to search and look for headings and subheadings, so that it can mention page, and it can detect and then mention the page numbers in the table of contents for those headings, right? So you are allowed to use the predefined headings, but since we have made our own headings, we are going to select the my main heading thing, and then I'm going to use these arrow buttons to move um, you know these dots left to right to indicate the levels in table of contents. What are levels in table of contents? this is level 0. Here you can see, I hope you can see the my mouse arrow. The heading 1 in this example table of contents, the heading 1 is at level 0. Heading 1.1 is at level 1, and if there was a subheading of heading 1.1, we would want it to be at level 2, and so on. So every inner level will have some indentation with respect to the starting levels, level 0. So we go to the
Level ten.
additional
Wow.
styles and we change the my main heading to level 1, because in this example
Sorry.
table of contents, heading 1 should be at level 1 and heading 1.1 should be at level 2, and any further subheadings will be after those level 3, 4, etc. So level 0 indicates here that these headings, these styles or custom styles, either they are used or not. So 0 means they're not used in the table of contents at all. Level 1 would mean that my main heading is being used at the first level, and level 2 means that my subheading is used on the second level. So level 0 would mean that this heading is not used at all. So I'm going to press OK now and OK again. So here you can see that it has searched the Libre writer software has searched for all the content in my uh, document which had custom styles applied to it, like my main heading, and it has kept the all the custom styles of my main heading to level 1 over here, over here, over here, over here, over here, and it has looked for my subheading styles in my document, and it has changed that to level 2. So you can see a space here. Before 1.1 there is a space, right? And the second great thing that this table of contents has done for us is the page numbers. So here you can see that it has automatically placed all the page numbers for all the chapters that we had written in our document. We didn't have to go throughout and look for all the headings in our document and then manually go and update the page numbers for those headings, because it would be tedious for large documents. If you're writing a document with 100 or 200 pages, or if you're writing a book, it would be tedious to, every time a heading goes from one page to another, it would be tedious to go to the table of contents and change the page number of that heading. So now I'm going to show you how the table can be updated for changes. So I'm going to go to the last heading, and before I go there, first let's see what is the page number for the last heading. The page number for the last heading, which is called future work, the page number for that is what? Right now in my document it is page number 9, right? So if I go here and I see that the last heading, which is future work, and I keep the cursor at this point, I click on anywhere inside the text, I can see below here that the page number it mentions here, page 9 of 9, right? So I'm going to add a page before this heading. I'm going to place the cursor before the C of chapter 5, and I'm going to press Control Enter, so that now I can see that chapter 5 future work is now placed on page number 10, right? So now I'm going to go and see whether my table of contents is updated for the this change. So here I can see that it is not right now updated for page number 10, right? So you would say that probably something is wrong with my table of contents. So the answer to that is no, there is nothing wrong with it. This is an automated table of contents, but it does not periodically check for changes in your document. You have to manually tell the table of contents that there have been some changes made to your document. So you right click this table of content, and there is an option called update index. So let's try that. And as soon as I update the index, you can see here that the page number is changed now from 9 to 10. All the page numbers. And let's try one other one. For example, if I change, uh, if I force heading 1.2 to go to the next page. So I've pressed Control Enter, and now heading 1.2 has gone to page number 4. But in my table of contents, heading 1.2 is still at page number 3. So if I right click this and I use the update index option, now you see that heading 1.2 is also on page number 4. So you have to continuously keep updating your uh, table of contents to reflect the changes in your document. This is the only, you can say, thing that you need to do to make sure that your document, the table of contents in your document is up to date with all the proper page numbers. तब आप देखें कि आपका document बहुत professional लग रहा है. It's looking really good. Okay, so the only thing that is left in our from our course outline in word processing are previewing and printing a document and using spell checker and thesaurus. So uh, there is an option of spell checking. The shortcut key is F7, and you can, or there is this button ABC with a check mark on it. You can click this and it will scan all the, we copied all of this from Wikipedia, but the names, the proper nouns are going to be looked not in the dictionary of this spell checker. So the spell checker is going to tell these names as incorrect spelling. ये जितने नाम वगैरह हैं, we are just ignoring them, and it will and there is another option called add to dictionary. So जैसे हम sometimes we type technical documents in, for example, I use mutex. Mutex is a word which is not recognized by the dictionary, but it is one of my courses. So what do? I add that word to dictionary so that every time I write in my documents the word mutex, it will not show me that word as a wrong spelling, right? So you can always add a word to dictionary. If you want to add your custom words to dictionary, it is always a good thing to do. You can add your name to your dictionary in your computer, in your word processing softwares, and you can add your technical words that you are certain that they are recognized words. Like Linux is a word, but Linux is, I think, it's already in my dictionary at least. And so this was about the dictionary. And the second thing is printing. So printing is also something which is very common nowadays, in terms of the fact that we convert our documents to PDF format using printing. This is something that I do almost very frequently, and I have installed a PDF printer or driver. You can I use a PDF viewer which is called Foxit, Foxit PDF reader. I have been using this for a very long time now. This is a PDF document reader, Foxit reader. And the benefit of using this reader is that it allows me to edit the PDF documents, add text on top of it, add bookmarks, and it also installs a default PDF printer inside my computer. And this PDF printer, you can see over here, Foxit reader PDF printer in my printers. So if I go to control panel or in settings, and if I try to look for actually if I go to printers and scanners, inside my printers and scanners I can see the list of all the printers that I have been using, which are installed in my computer, in my operating system. And in this list, you can see that Foxit Reader PDF printer is installed as a printer. Although it is not a physical printer, this is a software printer. Whenever you send a print to this printer, it converts anything that I send to it as text or as file. It converts that into PDF, and it allows me to save that PDF file anywhere inside my computer. So let me show you how it happens. So I simply go to the file menu and I select the print option. And before I go to the print option, I can also go to the print preview option, and I can see how my document is going to look after it is printed on paper, right? Or into the PDF. So I can press escape and I will be taken back to the previous view. Then I go to the print option and I can select the printer. I'm selecting Foxit Reader PDF printer, and then I can change many options, like how many pages I want to print, all pages, or how many pages. And then I can select the paper size. It is by default letter. I can change it to A4 if I want to. So it doesn't really matter right now because the letter and A4 page, they are really very similar with a very minor change in size. And I can also change the pages per sheet. So if I select 4 pages per sheet, you can see on one A4 size paper, I can see 4 pages of my document, and I can also draw a border. So now all the 4 pages will be printed on one piece of paper, and there will also be a border printed for between all the pages so that it's very easy for me to see. So let's print this with OK. So it will be sent to the PDF printer. It is telling me that it is going to save the file in PDF format. So I click save, and then I go to the documents folder, and I can see in on the top here that my file is now printed as a PDF, and the printer has also opened the file in Foxit PDF viewer. And here you can see that it has now automatically created a PDF file for me with all of my pages in the view. So this is a very handy tool. I suggest everyone, please make sure that you try this out. I'm going to show you something very interesting at the end. So let's go to the last page and click Control Enter and insert a new page, right? And I will be creating a signature page where the thesis or the project supervisor can have their signature, and the co-supervisor also have their signatures. But we are going to do this in a clever way, and I'm going to just go remove all the formatting, right? So now we will be creating the signature page. So I'm going to write over here, after clearing the format, I'm going to write signatures, and apply the main heading style on this, my main heading style. So I'm going to apply my main heading on this, right? So then I'm going to go to the next line and I'm going to clear all the formatting for that line, and I've already done that. So now what should a signatures page should look like? On the left hand side there should be, I'm going to place the supervisor's name, and I'm going to place many underscores, like 10 or 20 underscores, so that it looks like an underline. And then I'm going to the next line and I'm going to apply supervisor's signature, and I'm going to again apply some underscores, and then I'm going to go to the next line. I'm going to type in the date, and I'm going to give in some space for typing in the date, right? So now what we want to do is, I want to create all of this at this side of the page for co-supervisor, right? I want to create all of these things on the right hand side for the co-supervisor. But I want that piece of thing to look like very professional, and not like k not like by pressing multiple spaces and then typing co-supervisor name and stuff like that, right? So it would look very unprofessional if I used so many spaces to give it um so instead I'm going to use the tab key. There is a tab key on your keyboard. I'm using the tab key. I'm going to show you using the this non-printing character view. Here you can see an arrow. This arrow is a result of the tab key that I pressed on my keyboard. It will not be printed. It is this These are the key strokes which are not shown to the user. So I'm going to turn this off now. So similarly, I'm going to, place some underscores. Actually, I'm going to reduce the underscores a bit because I want to make my point more clear. And I'm going to reduce this for this and reduce a bit for this, right? So similarly, I'm going to go to the line that says supervisor's signatures, and I'm going to place a tab at the end, and I'm going to write co-supervisor's signature, and I'm going to type in some underscores. Then I'm going to go next to the line that says date, and I can just copy paste this, and I can just place a tab key and I do this. Now you can see, and I'm going to add some underscores that so that they're aligned with the top ones. Now you can see over here that this section, although it looks a proper section which is separated from this section, but I want this section to appear exactly aligned to this right side margin of the page, but it is apart by a large distance from the right side margin. How do I take all of this? So the first answer is that if I want to take all of this to the right hand side, it wouldn't be easy, and it we will have to take every single piece individually towards the right hand side. This is what we understand, because these are separate lines. We will have to take every single thing separately towards the right hand side. But if I keep on pressing the tab key multiple times, now I have pressed tab 3 times and there is still some space left on the right hand side. If I place another tab key, it takes the line to the next line, right? The name part is taken to the next line, which I really don't want. I don't want to break this thing apart. This thing should not be broken into two pieces and taken to the next line. This is really bad. So, what is the solution to that? The best solution to that is that you go to this tiny thing, and there is this tiny. I hope you can see the mouse cursor. There is this tiny L shape, you can say. If I keep pressing this, it changes shape. So, this tiny button, if I click this, it keeps changing shapes, and every shape has a different meaning. This is called a left align tab. This is called a right align tab. This is called a center align tab, and this one is called a decimal place or decimal or dot align tab, right? These are all very useful things, but let me show you how we can use the right align. So I'm going to click this one and I'm going to land on the right align tab, which is a mirrored L type shape, and I'm going to come over here and I'm going to go to the ruler. So everyone should have their ruler in view. This is the ruler thing on top of the page. And you know, now go to the on top of the ruler and press the left mouse key and don't release the left mouse key. Press the left mouse key and don't release it. And while pressing the left mouse key, move the mouse so that it allows you to place this right align tab to anywhere you like. And we are going to release the mouse when we move this tab to the extreme right end of our page. So I'm going to anywhere in the ruler, I'm going to left click and keep on holding, and you can see this tab is now placed, but it is not, because I have not released my mouse key. I can drag it to left and right, and if I go to the extreme right and I just place it on the margin of the page, and I am going to release my mouse key. So now I release my mouse key, and now you see the magic has happened. All of this thing has moved to the extreme edge of the margin because of this tab key. This tab key that I you know this tab key that I placed will now follow this tiny mirrored L shape right align tab that I have placed on my ruler. I'm going to go to the next line. I'm going to keep my cursor blinking on the next line, and then I'm going to again go to the ruler, place the left mouse key, and then I'm going to drag it towards the right side, and I'm going to release it exactly on the margin of the page. So this line is also now moved to the extreme right. Then I'm going to go to the third part, and I'm going to again click and drag this tab, and I'm going to place it on the margin. So now the third line has also changed. I'm going to turn the printing characters off. Now you can see that how good all of this looks. The left side has section kind of thing for supervisors, name and signature and date, and the right hand side also has a section type of thing for the co-supervisor to write in their name and signature and write the date.